Hello there, Yangzi. Okay. Um, yes, do not worry about the difficulty of the essays because I've kind of made them a little bit more difficult than they should be, just because I want you to get into the habit of sort of like thinking of examples or filling up your head with new material, which is definitely useful. Okay, which this was the case. Copyright. Not everybody's thinking about copyright, and now you've got a good preparation. Okay, so if that happens again, jump onto Wikipedia, start reading, start doing some summaries of some articles, and then attempt the question again once you're a bit more knowledgeable about the subject, or jump onto the TED Talks, something like that. All right, let's go. Copyright law might either strangle creativity or provide incentives. Okay, so now have been a contentious issue. If you'd have said whether copyright law might strangle creativity or provide incentives has been a contentious issue, okay? Since the inception of technology, that would have been fine, okay? But do not mix these conjunctions, like either it's this or this, and then another conjunction yet, okay? Just use one. Okay, so we could say copyright law strangles creativity. No, whether copyright law strangles creativity or provides incentives has been a contentious issue since the inception of technology. Full stop. Finish that sentence. Okay, job done. Okay, and then we could just say, uh, and then we could even start another conjunction. Yet, such regulations can largely affect the role of a community. Full stop. Okay, much better. Now, despite the tremendous benefits derived by copyright law, or from copyright law, there are certain threats that cannot be ignored to safeguard our civilization and culture. This essay will discuss both issues using examples of a read-write culture and technology to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Good. All right, my only criticism of this, apart from the conjunctions, would be to make it a little bit shorter, a little bit more brief. Okay, and the way we'd do that would be maybe just try and get, maybe just delete that part. Okay, um, okay. And here I would have said, despite the potential tremendous benefits, there are certain threats that cannot be ignored. Okay, there are certain threats to civilization that cannot be ignored. Okay, that would have been sufficient. A little bit weak, but it would have just shortened the introduction sufficiently. Okay, so we can focus on the body paragraphs and pick up some monster points. Legal protection grants the creator exclusive rights to use and distribute their works for a limited time period, which are seen to constrain, use the verb, new creations. Wonderful first sentence. This is because such innovation with the use of technology can ruin the artistic development. Okay? Or can ruin artistic development. For example, read-write and read-only culture today has consumed creativity because the consumer is not the creator. Therefore, such rules and regulations neither protect ideas nor foster sustainable creativity, though it can provide a short-term profit. Not bad, but my worry, and it was kind of expressed in your email, okay, it seems like we've overthought this, okay. Maybe it's my fault for giving a rather complex video, okay. But all I wanted to do with the video is just introduce you to this topic, okay. But this is fine, okay. However, personally, I would have gone for a little bit more of a basic argument, okay, rather than trying to absorb and regurgitate the TED Talk. Okay, I would have gone for a simpler argument, maybe about YouTube and remixing. Okay, which I also think was in that video. Let's have a look. On the one hand, civilization is regulated according to the administrative law of the land. If the patent law fails to execute its regulations in terms of patent infringement, the victim may revolt with fruitless result. No, can't say that. Once again, I think we've gone over to overthinking. Okay. Anyway, let's carry on. For instance, in 1945, some farmers complained about instruments trespassers. Oof, way complex. Okay. Who infringe regulation of land. No, you need to get the difference between trespass and infringement completely clear. Trespass is for land. Infringement is usually for intellectual property. Get it crystal clear, okay? Such issues can lead to our children distrusting the law that could threaten the foundation of society. On the other hand, right in the sentence guide, I'm sure I said that we shouldn't really be doing this. On the one hand, on the other hand, because it produces fat, difficult to understand paragraphs, okay, that don't really balance, okay, because we've got this chunky one and then we've got this little skimpy one, okay. So avoid doing that. If you are going to do the on the one hand, on the other hand, you start this paragraph with on the one hand and then you start this one off on the other hand, and that basically is one paragraph, and then you put in your example, and then this is on the other hand. As you can see, we've just jammed it full, so don't do that again, Yangzi, okay. It's good though that I like to see ambitious students, but remember, we've just got to play basic, okay, for the exam, and make sure it's crystal clear, easy to read, and that will be achieved by following the sentence guide. For example, if infernal talking machines continue to display its vocal cords, it would shift our culture from read-write to read-only existence. Thus, our society may not face such huge loss of arts history. Don't understand that, okay? It seems just way too hypothetical and rather complex, okay? I would have gone just for simpler arguments. Maybe ones about, like I said, remix culture. Um, let's see, copyright. What else could we do? I don't know, just recent events. Maybe I think YouTube's just the best way to do it, and remixing. To conclude, although copyright seems to be beneficial with advances in technology, we are going to lose our next generations of creativity and if such regulations control our society. Okay, well recovered with that final paragraph. Okay, let's just have a look at your one. The paragraph describes the consumption of calories through 4 different sources by men in England at various ages. Okay, much more concise. It is conspicuous, it's not conspicuous. It's noticeable that not boys below 24, because you can't call a guy a boy if he's 23. Okay, so we could say it is noticeable that males under 24 intake the same proportion of calories from 3 different sources except milk. Okay, except milk products, full stop. While men above 50 consume comparatively less from the available sources, except pulses, which was responsible for over 60%. Okay, wonderful start though, wonderful start. Okay, and we've already said this. Okay, so we've already said that before. We don't want to do that. Okay, I could say men 24 to 49 brackets like you've done rely on meat for a large percentage of calories, just over 50%, okay, or exactly 50%, but let's just make it a little bit richer than a plain number. While they acquire, let's see, while milk, pulses and vegetables contribute between 25 and 10% respectively for this group. Okay, we need to use the respectively sentence, and we need to group information as well. And this was an okay group. It's not the best group, but we need to group it. So I just chose this one, okay? And we just group them all together because they're less than the main one. Pulses are the predominant sources of calories for men above 50. We've already said that. Okay, and we're just repeating what we've already said. So what we should say is the story, and we should say overall, and we start the last paragraph with overall, each age group had a clear preference, had a clear preferred source of calories, comma. This varied depending on age, full stop. Incidentally, vegetables never reached the favoured calorie source regardless of age, full stop. Okay, I think it's vegetables, yeah. All right, and then what we do is we include the exception as well as the trend, and the trend, or the main factor here, was each one had a favorite, okay, and it varied. That was the main story. So we'd say the main story and then the exception, which was vegetables, and we finish with overall. Great start though, Yangshi. Keep going, you're doing well, and don't worry about that difficult T2. Okay, it's good that we get the difficult ones out of the way now, because if you get a copyright question in the exam, you're going to nail it, and that's what we want. That's the kind of situation we want to be in. Okay, so keep these essays coming. We're doing well. Let's carry on and keep improving. All the best. Also, is YouTube okay for you to watch these videos? Let me know.